In this video, you're gonna learn the importance of keeping those hips all the way back, getting those hips on your team and getting them turning, and how that's gonna get you that effortless power and consistency in the golf swing. What's up guys, Nate Manning here, ManningGolf.com and founder of the Natural Balance Swing. Like I said in today's video, we're gonna look at those hips, how to get those hips on your team, and a really good drill to do that. But before we dive in, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more helpful golf tips in the future. So the hips are very important in the swing. They set the stage for everything that's about to unfold in the swing. If your hips are not working well and they're not in the right place, then your arms aren't going to be able to swing consistently. Your body's not going to be able to turn consistently. So it's all in the hips. So I'll repeat that. If your hips don't turn enough, you're probably missing out on 50, 60, 70 yards of distance, and actually turning your hips more and in the right way really skyrockets your consistency. But mainly in this video, I want to talk about in the backswing, how to really get that good hip turn, and then how to keep those hips back instead of flying open, really keeping those hips back, letting the arms get in a good spot where you can then turn together, back, turn together, but you need to be having enough hip turn and keeping the hips back. So this hip rotation drill is really going to show you how to get those hips open. And what I want you to do is drop the club. You don't need the club. And getting those hips working is hard in golf because golf is played on an angle and it's not that natural of a movement. And so that's why we're going to start straight up and down to understand how much this hip should be turning, and we can start unlocking that. So what we don't want to see is this hip pushing back. We want to see this hip going straight back. And we rotate instead of swaying. So you can put your arms like this, and the task I want to give you is get a full turn. Again, we're standing straight up and down, flat to the ground. Get a full turn, flat to the ground. And so to do that, if I'm facing you, to get this full turn to here, you can't do that unless you turn your hips enough. So if I turn my hips a little, I can't turn my shoulders. And if I turn my hips a little bit more, I still can't turn my shoulders any more than this. Now I fully turn the hips, watch the shoulders. Now my shoulders can turn against my hips. So that's really crucial to do the same thing back and through every time, because I know when I was starting golf, if you told me I had to turn my hips that much, I would have thought you're crazy. But actually, that's very important to be consistent, is turning your hips way more than you think you need to, because that's what leads to the smooth transition and swinging back and through in the same way every time. Is you get that full hip turn and then boom, the weight gets forward. And so to do this, what you want to do is have the pressure on the inside of this trail leg here, not on the outside, not on the outside like this, on the inside of it. And you're not turning against this trail leg, you're pushing off of it. You really feel like you're pushing off of this trail leg, and you feel that the hip gets pushed straight back by pushing off of this trail leg. And so we're gonna do this straight up and down. You feel that feeling and you turn those hips, and that's where you can get this nice full turn. And that's where all your power is. So really push the hip out of the way and really turn. And this is the best way to feel the hips moving. This is the best way, there's no better way. Because what you do next is you go, okay, I get this nice full turn, and then you bend over in the shot and you really feel where this hip is. And you're like, man, that's way further back. Normally it's maybe right here, but that thing is so far back there. How in the world am I ever going to get my hip to get back there? And the key is you need to set up with the pressure in the right spot and your hips in the right spot. And then you need to push off your trail leg and your hip will get there. And then that will allow your upper body and your arms to swing freely and then back through the ball. And so the key here when you're setting up to the ball is you're not just going down to the ball. No. See, there's a point here where if you notice how you're turning back and through flat to the ground and getting this nice full turn, as you're here, so you're here through the ball, what happens is pressure gets into this trail leg on this natural balance, and then your hips fully square. Do that this way. Pressure, pressure, hips fully square, shoulders fully square, and then we push off the trail leg. So really what we need to do at the setup position to get the hip, not here, But back here, so not here, but all the way back here, what we need to do is at our setup position, really feel like you're closing these hips off more than you ever thought. Feels like it's a little pivot where you're rotating your hips to the right. Because pressure, hips rotate to the right, shoulders go to the right as well. And now in this position where we push up the trail leg and the hip floats to the right spot. But if we don't have our hips in the right spot and we don't have the pressure inside the trail leg, that won't happen. And so if I'm here and my hips are ever so slightly not squared off, then it's going to be very easy for me to get very little hip rotation. So starting from a straight up and down position, if you turn open and tilt down, turn open, tilt down, you'll feel where this hip is. And now practice going, okay, nope, I swayed. How do I rotate to get there? And you pump it back and forth and you feel like, okay, I need to be right here. So I kind of need to be having my hips in a more, what it feels like to you probably is your hips are a little closed starting off, and then you push off and it gets even more closed. That's what you want. And then you let the arms come here, you keep the hips back, and then you turn everything through. Because if we look at how you can make your most consistent swing, you'll notice that the arms swing back. Show you this way. The arms swing back, and then if we don't let the arms start coming the other way, and we say arm swing, okay, well now I'm all over the place. So to do the same thing back and through, doing the same thing every time, getting that nice hip turn is exactly what you need to do, because it gives your arms time to come back around until you go through. So the hips fully turn and we have to let our arms swing and come back right there till we go through. And so keeping the hips back is key to swing from the inside, to strike your irons first, to not slice the ball, so many things. And this is how you do it. Arm swing, hip stays back, now we go. Arm swing, hip stays back as the arms come, then we go. And so that was really the eye-opener to me. The first time I really realized, so my first 3 years of playing golf, this is what I did. Not enough hip turn at all, not a consistent swing. And the other thing with that is you just saw my arms broke down. That's another thing that happens, is your arms won't be able to swing consistently because you don't have enough turn in there. So the arms are gonna have to go somewhere. So if I keep my lead arm straight and I don't turn my hips, this is as far as they would go. So from there on out, it's the arms breaking down. But if I get the arms in the same position here, and I get the good turn, well now I have all that power. So it's really a key in the swing is get those hips turning. So it's really a key in the swing is get those hips out of the way and keep them back. I hope you found some helpful tips in this video. If you did, consider liking, commenting, and subscribing for more helpful golf tips in the future. If you're looking to get started with the natural balance swing, which I think is the easiest way to play golf, check out my Natural Balance Essentials course in my online golf school, where I go over all the key concepts to get started with this swing, including getting your hips on your team. And so you can check that out by clicking on my website, ManningGolf.com on the left here, or you can look at some of my structured programs, 30 and 60-day natural balance mastery, by clicking the video on the right. I hope the rest of your day goes well. See you in the next video.